During the Big East Championship game, Providence head coach Ed Cooley had an interesting wardrobe choice in the second half. He was asked about this after the game. Say what?
Yeah, when I sat down, I felt a great breeze in the crack. You know, my pants ripped.
I love the reporter that was like, excuse me, I know there's a lot of things going on. What happened to your pants?
This is your guy, CC.
Oh, yeah. We were at the game on Friday, Nick and I. He actually came over to us and dapped up Nick when he was doing the...
Hold on, let me be fair. He was looking for Chris. He had been so let me tell the full story here, because it's a great one. Providence is down 17.
Yes.
They look dead in the water. They start coming back. Xavier.
During the comeback, me and the coach make eye contact.
That's what I'm saying. Every time.
So I'm cheering for this team.
Every time Xavier calls timeout, because we were first row center court. We were very fortunate, thanks to Fox. Every time.
Thanks to me.
Okay, thanks to Chris Carter and Fox. Every time Xavier calls timeout, the Providence coach claps, walks away from his huddle, and glances at Chris. Like, yeah. Like, he's so excited. So after the game, after they win, Chris goes down to say hi to John Thompson Sr.
To tell him he ruined my basketball career by not offering me a full scholarship to Georgetown.
I'm a few feet behind Chris. Chris has no credential. I have no credential. Hey, Chris Carter, go right ahead. I get another foot behind. Well, sir, you don't have a credential. So I have to go back to my seat. While I'm back to my seat, this guy, Ed Cooley, comes by to see Chris. Chris isn't there, so he says, hey, big man. I'm looking, are you talking to me? He's like, yeah. He's like, we got that. And I was
At
like,
least people stop calling you small.
Right, exactly right. Exactly. But we were all in on the Providence game.
This is really good. He's one of the most animated coaches, but the reason why also I picked Providence, man, he's a great coach. He does more with less. When you're at a school like Providence and you're facing the big powers in the Big East, and I grew up on Big East basketball.
Hold on. I listened to that entire story, and at no point did you tell me how he split his pants?
That was the Saturday game. He didn't split them.
They got to the championship
I thought the story ended with him bending over and splitting his pants.
No.
That's what I was so
during
into
the championship game Saturday.
Oh.
By the way, they got that guard Cartwright they have. He's not scared. That guy's a big-time player.
That's awesome.
They're an interesting team.
You got to watch out that European fit, coach. It's a little snug.
It's a little slim fit in the seat. Yeah. Let the seat out, coach. Come on. There's no shame to that. Tell the tailor. Let the seat out a little bit.
All right, time now for some stories to start your morning.
That's when you have junk in your trunk.
Yeah, you got it right.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Well done.
Because the other times he used the expression he didn't?
No, exactly.
Von Miller says he's all in 100% for Kirk Cousins. Miller added it's kind of like college again. You got an athlete coming to your school and you want to try your best to get them there. CC, is there any chance Cousins signed with the Broncos?
Absolutely. Like, man, if he's thinking about trying to win, because it's going to be a question of how much money or trying to put myself on a team where I can potentially get myself with a winner. That would be Denver, and that would also be the Minnesota Vikings. So, yes, the Broncos have a great opportunity if all things are equal. If he's looking at support from the organization, support of a good defense, if he wants to, there might be a little cachet to going with John Elway to be able to solve John Elway's quarterback problem. That and the Denver Broncos with the Minnesota Vikings, to me, are the best opportunities for the next step of his career.
I think the Broncos would have to pay more than the Vikings would have to pay, but less than the Jets would have to pay. You know what I mean? That makes sense?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I think the Vikings, theoretically, if Cousins is not just worried about the most money, could get Kirk the cheapest, because they are clearly the best team. But the Broncos could get him cheaper than the Jets. The Jets are going to have to pay a premium. The Jets are going to have to do some creative capology to get him.
And based on their wide receiver, who doesn't like me anymore.
He don't like you.
He says he's going to be ready for the season.
He's going to be ready. He's coming for you, Chris Carter.
No problem. I work on 6th Avenue.
To the NBA, Anthony Davis returned last night. The Pelicans lost to the Jazz. Davis had a triple-double, 25 points, 11 rebounds, 10 blocks on his birthday, no less. Nick, how far can Anthony Davis take this team?
Just before I answer real quick, I am shocked this is his first career triple-double. It's hard to get there with blocks, but Anthony Davis, as good of a passer as he is, I'm shocked he never had the 10-assist game necessary for the triple-double.
Well, when you throw it and people don't make buckets.
It's a good point.
Yeah,
it's a good point. Maybe a lot of potential assist loss.
Yeah, the guards are playing better now.
Right.
So the chance of getting a triple-double conventional way have gone up.
All right, how far can he take them? He can, to me, I think the Pelicans, can beat anyone in the West other than Golden State and Houston. So as long as they stay 3, 4, 5, 6, they would not play Golden State or Houston until the second round. So I think that's as far as they can get. Like, I think they win their first round matchup, lose to Golden State or Houston in the second round.
But Anthony, getting them with the injury to Boogie Cousins to the number 4 seed where they are currently, it's been a great year for the Pelicans. Let's not get mixed up with the postseason, which a lot of teams, their success will be based on that. The Pelicans, where they are, and Anthony, isn't this his first time in the playoffs with the Pelicans?
No, they made it once, but they got swept by Golden State. Anthony Davis, as great as he is, forget winning a playoff series, has never won a playoff game.
Yes.
That's the story with him.
Okay.
So any postseason success would be something they haven't experienced.
Yeah, like I said, no postseason wins.
There you go. That's exactly what you said.
You wonder how far they could have gone with Boogie in the lineup, along with AD. All right, Raptors beating up on the Knicks 132-106 yesterday. Toronto now has the 3rd best record in the league and a 3.5-game lead in the East. CC, you were at this game. How impressed were you with the Raptors?
Oh, I was really impressed with the Knicks and their food. I got to say, man, they did do an impeccable job. In the owner's suite at halftime, I went in there, and then also we had Kentucky, Tennessee, and then we had Tiger Woods on the other TV. Amazing.
Why go home?
Wondering how you were following the golf. Because you tweeted a picture from courtside, and then 45 minutes later you're texting me about the break and putt. International man of mystery, Chris Carter.
And thanks to the Knicks and everything for the hospitality. The Raptors are the best team. This is the thing, too. You see them playing with a quiet confidence. I was expecting this to be a dud. They could have been celebrating all weekend. Huge win, their biggest win of the season in Houston on Friday night. They come to the Garden on a Sunday, a 1 o'clock start. It's beautiful. Typical NBA teams, they sleepwalk through the first half. They're not used to getting up that early. The Raptors, a little sluggish the first quarter. That bench unit comes over, takes over the game, and the rest is history. I got confidence in Toronto.
It's a great point. Friday night in Toronto, their biggest crowd of the season, their biggest game of the season. Drake's there taunting the Rockets. They win that game. They win a close game. James Harden hits a step-back 3 to tie it. DeRozan closes it out. The Raptors close it out. Yeah, maybe you have a letdown against the Knicks. You're not really fighting for much seeding anymore. You're going to get the 1 seed. You have a game you can give away. Not only do they win, they score 132 points with no starters scoring 20 points, with 2 starters in single digits. How do you do that? They have the best bench in the NBA right now. I don't believe they will be the best team in the East, but they absolutely have the best bench production of any team in the entire NBA, and they will be, in my eyes, an Eastern Conference finalist this year.
And finally, tough weekend for Odell Beckham Jr. A video surfaced of him with a French Instagram model while he holds a brown object that looks to be some sort of cigar. Next to him, a line of white powder that some are inferring is an illegal substance. Let's not forget there's an entire pizza there and nobody even had a slice of it. That's what kills me. Both the Giants and the NFL have said they are aware of the video. I'll start with you, CC. What was your reaction to seeing this?
I was disappointed. And not because of the video, not because I haven't seen anything like this. It's just because of what Odell's told me. I know what his personal goals are. So for me...
tell us what it is. What did he tell you?
He wants to be the best wide receiver ever. Not only the best wide receiver in the game, but the best wide receiver ever. So for me, it's like the movies in Hollywood. They create the ending of the movie in Hollywood first. Then they go back and work from the beginning to the end. A pro athlete is the same way. You set your goals as far as what you want to be. Emmitt Smith remembers the first night before his first Dallas game. He tells his very confident roommate and Michael Irvin. Mike said, man, what do you want to be? He said, man, I want to be the best running back ever. And he said, tomorrow I set on a course to try to prove it. Now, OBJ, if you're going to be Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, T.O., if you're going to be in that conversation, let's go back and watch how he gets there. Let's say if this is Randy Moss during his playing days. He's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Also, you have put the main...
Hold on, when you say that, you're saying if a video of this...
Of Randy Moss.
Comes out, you think they would have kept him out of the Hall of Fame on the
during his playing career? Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. I just want to make sure people understood what you were talking about.
And just it had been justified. Now, Odell, we've set the ending for where you want to be. The last 2 off-season, him and I have extensively spent a lot of time talking about what are the things that can trip you up. And with Odell, it's never on the field. It's never something, a technique. It's never a coverage. It's never, oh, can he play in the slot? Oh, can he get off the bump and run? Oh, can he score touchdowns? No, it's always something else. It's either his attitude. It's either him not being able to control his emotions, him not being reflective enough to understand that the optics that are on him. So for me, I'm disappointed, not because I'm an athlete with potentially with the cocaine or potentially a marijuana cigarette. No, I'm upset because of what he told me. And this is not the course that you want to be on. This is not the optics. These are not the things when you're trying to get $20 million and be the highest paid wide receiver in the history of the game. This is not the way to go to your employer to demand that type of salary.
And you guys both had interactions with him in the offseason.
Yeah.
Safe to say, he didn't just say this one time. It's not that he said one time, this is it. He said this multiple times now.
He talks to us about a lot of stuff. He picked my brain on things he can do to get what he would consider more fair media coverage. And I would have told him then and tell him now, this is not one of the things you want to do if you don't like the way you're covered in the media. Listen, I am an extremist on this type of stuff. I get it. I am very far afield from most people. These things, I kind of expect them to a degree, like not it showing up on video, but am I shocked there are star football players who might smoke a little weed in the offseason? No, I'm not shocked. I actually expected it. Am I shocked that if you're overseas in Paris for Fashion Week, you might hook up with an Instagram model?
Would you have expected Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers?
I would.
Because you said pro football players. They're pro football players.
Correct. I wouldn't expect it from Tom Brady. I wouldn't. I feel like quarterbacks have a different air of responsibility.
So what if you want to be paid like a quarterback? Don't you think you acting like a quarterback would have something to do with you being able to get that money?
So let me finish my point real quick because I think you'll better understand it. So am I shocked that you might hook up with a model who might do some drugs recreationally? I'm not shocked by that either. The part of this that's toughest for Odell is that she snapped a video of it, or somebody did. It would appear she did, and now we all know about it. I don't think this affects his ability, unless he's suspended through the drug program, affects his ability to reach his on-the-field goals. But it
definitely... Do you know if he's in the drug program?
I do not. I do not. I know he's never been suspended, but I know that...
But he does have occupation that does have a drug program and drug testing.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. I'm not denying any of that. But what I'm saying is I don't think this type of thing hurts your ability to be a great on-the-field football player unless it keeps you off the field. But it definitely hurts your ability to get the $20 million you want. Like, it definitely hurts your ability to get the contract. And I understand that he's got to know most people in the media don't feel the way I feel. Most people do think it's a really big deal. And he's got to be aware of that. I get that part of it.
If there was ever a more important time for him to stay out of, if you want to call it trouble, to stay out of the limelight, to stay out of having your face Instagrammed with what could be marijuana, it's these 3 months, 4 months, whatever it is until they start negotiating a contract. If you can't do it now, what's to say that you're going to be able to stay trouble-free, off the field free, drug-free, whatever it is the rest of the way? You want to explain to your organization, I'm worth this. I'm worth the money. I'm worth the investment. I'm worth everything that I think that I can do on the field. I'm worth all of it. Let me prove it to you. And now I've heard him say it 2, 3, 4 times already. This is the time where he really should be laying low, and he couldn't do it. I'm sorry, I don't buy it.
We were together at the game Friday night when this news broke. And I saw it on my phone, and I passed my phone over to you, and I showed it to you. And I saw your face. You just kind of sunk your shoulders a little bit, didn't say much about it. You and I didn't talk about it then again until this morning. Obviously, you're close with Odell. Obviously, he's one of the guys that you try to give advice to, you try to give help to. If Odell called you today or tomorrow and talked to you, what would you say to him? If he asked you for advice, what would you say to him?
Well, there's one reason why I'm in Odell's life, and that's because he chose me. He called me. He got my number from another wide receiver, and 3 years ago, and said, I want you to be a part of the people to try to help me understand what it's like to be a star, what it's like to be a wide receiver. People have told me that it's critical for you to be involved. So the only reason why I'm involved with him is because of him. But that does not come with not telling him the truth. So I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that he wouldn't be more aware, especially if he doesn't know this woman. Like, every day you are on stage. When you are a superstar, there is not a moment you're going to be able to drop your guard. So I believe it will affect him drastically. I do know that drug use does affect athletes, and you cannot perform the same way that you can. We'll be idiotic to say that. So I'm concerned about it. I'm concerned that people, more important, that write his checks, All right, that's the New York Football Giants. That's also Nike, who made him the highest paid football player in the league last year. You think that the optics don't hurt that? What about Head and Shoulders? You think you're going to be seeing a commercial with him this year, him washing his hair after seeing something like that? No, these type of companies, they don't pay for that bad PR. All right, so I'm very disappointed in him.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Coming up, should we just lock up Tiger to win the Masters now? That's next on First Things First. We're not being dramatic at all.
Tiger Woods, y'all. He's back.